Well, the basketball hoops are frosted over in Indiana. Another cold, cold winter day. So, good time for a cold start of the old 59 Cadillac. Haven't had her running for, probably a couple of weeks now. So which means during that time things tend to get built up and kids throw their stuff, their balloon swords on here. Oh boy. We'll move the old protector out of the way so kids don't slam their doors into the Caddy. Which I know people say your Caddy has tons of dings and paint chips, and why would you care about another? But hey, protect what you got while you can. Still don't know what the timetable for. We're actually going to go for a ride at the gym this morning. So let's start off with. We'll take the old wallet and hide it here in the Cadillac trunk with various parts and stuff. This also will soon be the hiding places for all the kids' Christmas presents. Look at all that room. Good spot. So we'll see how she does starting this morning. It's about 19 degrees, so not super cold like my last cold start video that I did, but still pretty darn cold. So this may take some doing. We'll see. I have determined one thing with cold starting the Caddy. This seems to work out pretty well. Is I noticed that if I just keep cranking it after plenty of pumps, it usually turns over. I still had the heater on from last time. So let's give her, I don't know, set the choke. I don't know, let's give her good 10 pumps, something like that. And I lost count. Let's see. So normally you probably see me crank about 4 or 5 seconds, and then I stop, pump some more, so on and so on and so on. Well, that's I find if I just keep letting her crank, it'll turn over. So let's see. 10, 12 seconds, which seems way too long, but there she goes. I'm gonna goose her with some gas because it is this cold, and even with the choke, it tends not to hold. I can feel it pretty rough. So we're gonna let this sucker have a good 10 minutes or so. Or not 10 minutes. Have at least 45 seconds to a minute to warm up. Which I know doesn't not make for the most interesting of video sections, but there she is. I got my big poofy jacket on, so suddenly the seatbelt doesn't fit quite the way it used to. Oh, it makes me feel like all that turkey from Thanksgiving is doing its job, but hopefully it's just the jacket. There we go. Okay, still got the door open. Alright, let's see how she does without any gas. Yeah, still a little rough there. Yeah. Let's give it a little more. Just get things flowing. I will say that the Caddy takes a long time to heat up. There's the temperature gauge, dead on cold, and it will probably stay that way. It's about a 10-minute drive to the YMCA, and it'll probably take us to get about a third of the way there before that'll really get up to temperature. Alright, it's still a little rough here with the cold. I'm gonna keep a foot on. I may need to goose this as we back up. Getting that little rattle when I start it lately. I have no idea what that is. did have a tiny bit of work done on the Caddy. There's that sound again. Yeah, I really have no idea what that is. I've been having a thing here when I was going to start it in these colder temperatures, and I would suddenly lose all electricity. Just boom, nothing. And it would be in the middle of cranking usually. So I was worried that there was something seriously wrong with the old electrical system. Happened to me about, I don't know, 3 times over the last couple of months, something like that. I see all that frost on the lawns of Indiana. You can always tell who's not so great about picking their leaves up. But yeah, just boom, no electricity. And I would just get out and have to push it back a little bit because I couldn't open the hood with the car pulled all the way in. So I would push it back a few feet, pop the hood, and I would just jiggle with the battery cables, and the juice would come back on, and I'd start it up like normal and drive like normal. Never happened while I was driving that I would lose electricity. So I figured it was just some bad battery cables, and it was. I just took it to sort of a general fix-it-place tire shop because it was so simple. The place that I go to that specializes in the old Cadillacs is on the south side of Indianapolis. It's a good half-hour, 35-minute drive from here. So it's you know, it's a bit of a logistical pain to take the car there. So for something simple like that, I figured I'd go there. And they took care of it pretty simply with the just to replace the battery cables, but
in a quarter mile at the traffic circle, take the first exit onto East 106th Street.
Sorry, I paused it there for a sec. Probably heard I had an navigation alert on my phone. I don't know why I thought my navigation was still on. So hopefully that's turned off now. But you can see, okay, so we're a bit sooner than I thought, but you can see here now, we've been going maybe like 3-4 minutes, and the temperature gauge is starting to move, which is good. It's time to turn on the heat. So I don't know if you remember one of my earlier videos, I talked briefly about working on the heater system, which was quite involved. I'm trying to even remember everything they did. I seem to recall they had something about they had to completely rebuild the heater box or something like that. The actual fan, believe it or not, was working just fine. And this unit here was just completely froze, rusted. Could not move the gauges at all. You know, they put some of that freeze up stuff on it and nothing. That was one of the times I tried to go find a part, buy it myself online, bought it, and then I took it to the shop and they're like, no, that's not the right part. Interesting thing about the heater controls in these old Cadillacs is you may notice there's 2 completely different control sliders for defrost and for heat. And they actually work separately, which I think is pretty cool. So that you can have both going at the same time or just one. And you can see you can even adjust the temperature separately from each of them. That's, you know, they say off to deep.
In a quarter mile at the traffic circle, take the 3rd exit onto the Keystone Parkway ramp.
Yeah, sorry about that. That thing's still on. But yeah, so let me pause again here, see if I can get that stupid navigation turned off, and we'll turn the heat on. Okay, I got the navigation definitely turned off this time. Sorry about that. This tends to do it. I don't know why it tends to just linger like that. You know, it's funny. It may have actually heard me saying I was going to the YMCA and just turned the navigation on. Interesting little navigation point here. You know, I live in Carmel, Indiana, famous or infamous for having the most roundabouts of any city in the United States, as opposed to traffic lights. And people make fun of them, but I'll tell you, they work a lot better than traditional traffic lights. And we're actually seeing the construction or finishing up stages here of, looks like the guys are not quite finished, hey guys, of one of the biggest ones here. This is what's known as a so we're basically going over, they built an overpass over the side road here. And so now this becomes this road here, which you would have to stop and had terrible traffic jams every morning. Keystone and 96th Street, this intersection, just horrible for years and years. Now you just cruise right over the top of it, just like that, no stopping. Get straight on the highway if you're getting on the highway. We are not going to be getting on the highway today. Yeah, that's just such a beautiful thing. It works out so well, and you would not believe. I mean, people would be stuck in that one traffic light for 10 minutes every morning or afternoon, and now you just get off the highway here and zip zap zoop, you're off. And there was a ton of these intersections along Keystone that were like this, and over the course of the last few years they turned every one of them into an overpass roundabout like that, and it's just made things so much better. And this one here at 96th Street was the last big one they were doing. It actually got delayed for a couple of years, and they finally have been working on it for about this whole year, 2019. They're still not quite finished, as you saw, but functionally they are done in terms of just being able to not have to stop at that traffic light anymore. And oh boy, what can I say? The speed of progress is not always swift, but we are very happy to have that project done after all this time. Alright, so now that I'm getting off the highway, we'll see about getting that heat back on, because my legs are getting a little frigid in the 19-degree temperatures. Okie dokie. Yeah, I always wonder, I watched a lot of car videos. I'm guessing if you watch this one, you probably watch plenty of car videos too. I always wonder, these guys, like, how are they driving a car and doing stuff with only one hand? I haven't figured that out myself, so I'm a little hesitant to turn on the heat while I was on the highway there. So I'm going to see if I can drive and hold the camera with one hand and work these controls. So, we got the fan control. So you do have a single fan control for both of those. So it comes out at the same speed as each one, but again, you can control the heat of each of these. But it's pretty chilly. We'll crank these on up a little bit. And here comes the heat. Yeah, it was definitely something when I was working on the car here that was like, people were like, you gonna get the heater working? I was like, I need to get the heater working. I mean, granted, most people just shut their cars up for the winter and don't drive them at all. Someone was just asking me the other day, do I use mothballs in my garage? I drive my car. I mean, unless there's snow or salt on the ground, I drive them in winter. Why would I not? As you can see, it started up even at a pretty chilly degree this morning. So, yeah, I'm a driver. What can I say? I buy my cars to be driven. There's my turn signal. When I had the instrument panel rebuilt, which, gosh, that was like almost 3 years ago now, if you can believe it. One of the things I was at first upset was about was that the turn signal indicators weren't going on. It turns out they do. They're just very faint. And all of the light bulbs in the instrument panel were replaced. So I was very keen on having my my turn signal indicators. So it's like that very pale green. So not if the sun is shining on it or you're in bright light conditions, you may not see it. Well, anyway, that there is the cold startup and drive to the gym here on a December day in Indianapolis. And people, wonder like, oh, do you really, drive this car to the, do you really drive it to the YMCA? Yeah, I drive it to the YMCA. I drive it to the YMCA. I drive it to the grocery store. I drive it to anywhere I'm going to run chores. I mean, honestly, that's the majority of the time the car gets driven is doing stuff like that. I don't generally drive it to work, but sometimes I do. And the secret of the classic car owner, even a bit of a ratty one, I always park as far away as I can. so I don't want anybody dinging doors on me. Okay, boy. I see you hear that rattling sound that was gone, and it's running very nice. All right, off she goes, doing that. And that is your Saturday morning drive to the YMCA in a 1959 Cadillac. One of the other reasons that I like driving it to do stuff is it really gives people a lot of pleasure to see the car out and about. Sure does me too. Thanks for watching.